All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have a sophisticated group of veterans here, and they want to show us how to do an exit. Come on, BK, you too. Go and help them to. Let's do a 5-way exit. Well, we know only 4 ways. Oh, you're not going to launch an exit for me?
I forgot how to do a meeker.
Okay, all right. Well, anyhow, here they are, 5 of the most profiled 4-way, 8-way competitors in the world. Well, all of them world champions. All of them world champions. Amazing. Kurt Eisenberger, Jennifer Davidson, Matt Davidson, Eric Heinsheimer, and BK Krause. And each of them will answer a question for us. And I'm going to start with Kurt. Kurt, you're the first one. Why should people compete? Why is it fun to compete?
As far as competition is concerned, if you want to feel the absolute hardest thing in life to feel, but absolutely the most incredible thing in life to feel, is to be a competitive skydiver at a world level. So compete.
Jen, why do you think competition is good for skydivers?
I think when you compete, you learn a lot about yourself, and it makes you better as a person.
Matt, why do you think competition is good? And
I think competition brings out the best in the human spirit, and it really challenges you to compete or to perform at your best.
Eric Heinsheimer, 8-way world champion of 90s, 2000, long time ago.
90s.
Judging.
The best thing about competing is the friends that you make along the way, and I'm able to compete with and against some of the greatest skydivers in the world, and they've all become my friends, and that what I take away from it is the most rewarding part of competition.
Ian Krause, I don't know, I'm not going to go through all the profiles because I'll do that later. Why should people compete?
I think you gain inspiration from your teammates, and you do stuff that maybe you couldn't do on your own, but you gain the strength of your teammates to be able to propel yourself to a higher level.
Another great perspective. Thanks, BK. Dan Brodsky-Chenfield, Dan BC, actually we know him only as. Dan, what do you think?
I love every aspect of skydiving and every kind of jump I make, but the jumps that are the most fun are the ones when you have a group of people and you all have a goal of trying to push the sport as far as you can and push yourselves as far as you can. The better you get at skydiving, the more fun that it is. And to push it as far as you can and then have the chance to go up in competition and try to show what you can do, and to do it against a bunch of guys like this, and you go head to head and then win, lose, draw when it's over. You're hanging out with people who have a lot of the same goals and some of the best friends you create in the world.
Thanks again to all of you. Here is the history of formation skydiving competition all together. Thank you. What is it? You're doing a lot of competition, and you're enjoying it, obviously. What do you think is the reason or the motivation why skydivers should train anyway, but compete, go to meets?
I think it's a big team event. I think people get a lot out of hanging out. I like how the atmosphere when this happens, when everybody comes together, and now some of the younger guys, they get to see, like Chris on our team. Before May, he hadn't done 8-way. Now he's a national champion in 8-way. So
right.
I think there's more opportunity now too to progress faster because of wind tunnels. So I just think now's the time, especially if you want to do it, and just the whole atmosphere around it is kind of what drew me to it. For sure.
Kirk, what's the reason why people should go to meets?
Well, I think for me, it's just obviously what John just said, the camaraderie of the teamwork. I love that too. But the big thing is when it's a test, right? You find out a lot about yourself. You find out who you are and who your teammates are in there, and almost always, in my experience, people perform better at the meet. A combination of adrenaline and things that go wrong in training, they don't let happen at the meet because they're so at a heightened arousal level, So I think that's the biggest part, is that you really find out about yourself, and I think most people, as they dig down in there, they find, I can do this, I am good at this, and they don't get all the nerves and things that you get. It's all in your head. It's not real, because it's all an offense sport,
All right, we heard it from 2 more celebrities. Go compete.
That's right.
It's the best, it's the peak of the whole sport. All right, thank you, gentlemen. You're attending a lot of meets. You have attended a lot of meets in your life. You are attending a lot of meets still actively, and then you're also organizing events, the Arizona Skydiving League. Why do you think that teams and competitors should go to meets and competitions?
Yeah, well, for one, if you're on a team and you're training and you're thinking about the nationals, I mean, you definitely want to have some competitions throughout the year to get you ready for the nationals. You don't want to train all year and just only do the nationals, because there's some learning that happens when you go to the nationals. You're definitely more focused. You care more about brain locks and bust and problems with the exit. And so there's a lot more learning that happens, because you're more invested, you care more, you're more focused. So I think it's a mistake if you have a big, if you have a plan just to go to the nationals with, you want to have those opportunities to see some mistakes that could happen, and just to debrief it and learn from it, so that when you get to the nationals, you can put out the best you can do at that point. So yeah, competitions are, and they're super fun. They're super fun, and it really just gets you super focused, like more than any training jump ever could. A lot of times you're training at your own little drop zone in your own world,
right.
And then now you get to interact with other teams, you get to learn from them as well, because you're doing the same jumps, and so you get to see what exits they do, what block technique they do, so you're constantly learning, and then it's really fun to meet other people, and a lot of times some of those people you meet, you may later become teammates with them, so there's this social thing going on, and oftentimes when people start competing, they're probably going to be competing for many years, so you might meet some of your future teammates there, and it's a blast. You meet everybody from all over the country. You meet, like, if you're going international, you meet people from all over the world, and some of those people become your lifelong friends, for forever, so it's super fun. I mean, there's just a lot of learning. It can be very emotional too. Like, you can have really great jumps, and then you're gonna have some jumps that you need to learn from.
and you cannot practice round one often enough, huh?
Never. Yeah, round one is special. So the more round ones you get in, the better. I highly recommend it.
Okay. All right. Wonderful. Thank you very much, Eliana.
Thank you.
All right, Mark. Tell us in, let's say, a minute, if you can, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Why do you think people should compete as much as possible and be at meets, if you think it's beneficial?
It's a great question. I didn't the first way that I competed was as a runner when I was younger. Running for my school, my district. But I enjoyed running, but I didn't know why. But something happened, something changed in me when I was put in competition against other parties. Something changed in my mind. And I think what it did for me is it allowed me to bring out something that I didn't know I had. In myself, and sports does that. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be fencing, running, skydiving, gymnastics. It doesn't matter. When you take that individual feels the same things that everybody else feels. They're put under stress and competition, and some people rise to the top and perform, and some people don't. And everybody chokes at some point, and everybody will excel at some point. But placing yourself in a position to be judged amongst your peers, I think is part of what we need, to make ourselves better.
Why should here's the key question of the whole thing. We have a lot of teams here and competitors, and you have been at hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of meets in your career, and you're still going to as many meets as you can. Why? Why do you think teams and competitors should go to competitions?
I think it's in French you would say it's the raison d'être. It means it's why, it's the reason for living, right? It's like, it's why you do it. Because the biggest one, if you want to know why you should go to competition, as much as you train at home and try to simulate round one of a competition, you cannot do it correctly. There is nothing can make round one happen. I've been trying to do it all my life, like to train for it. Okay, I'm gonna really try to get my internal organs like tight because I'm nervous about it. But nothing can do round one. And one of the biggest things is you have to have a good round one. You can't be so overcome with fear where you're just like, no. That's the truth. That's the truth. Go to as many competitions as you guys can, because it takes more than one competition to be a great competitor.
That is so true. Thank you very much, Craig.